Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another edition of the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. This is the Tuesday Night Flight. We had, as a network, we had something special going on today. I'll let the big guy tell you about that in a second. Also, like we always do, we're going to take you on another trip around the sports world, baby. Um, Trying to get you all the breaking news, all the newest news, and get you our opinions on it. With that being said, that's the gentleman Jack. That's the big guy KG. I'm the Midnight Rider. This is the Tuesday Night Flight brought to you by the Sideline Junkies Network. Take it away, KG.
Well, welcome. As you can see, it says 2 for Tuesday for those that are watching at home. That's because not only did you get the Tuesday Night Flight, which where you're at now, you also got Drive Time with Matty Ice, Vic Carr, Duval Paul, Matty Ice doing the damn thing from 5 to 6. Now we taking over from 8 until whenever. It's like almost like a radio station, man. Guys just coming in and out the studio getting it done. Right now, we got it's still the birthday gentleman Jack, and the Midnight Rider. How you gentlemen feeling tonight?
Yo, I feel awkward. I'll be right back. Hold on. I think I'm missing something. No, it's good.
You already know what he get ready to do. He feeling awkward. He get ready to go change into 2 or 3 KI hats, a Nationals hat, a Wizards hat. He get ready to change into a bunch of different things. But Jack, how you feeling?
I'm well, KG. I'm well, man. Just chilling like a villain, ready to get this show started.
Yes, sir. And first and foremost, we can't go any further, man. How was your birthday? Was your birthday good? Told you was getting ready to do it. Was your birthday good, man? Did you celebrate hard?
Yeah, no, it was nice, man. Nah, I don't celebrate hard. I just be chilling, just moseying around. My birthday started Thursday night, and some folks had a little bonfire across the way. We was chilling over there, and then Friday we was just chilling. Friday, we ain't do nothing. We just stayed home, and then Saturday I had to get down on my knees and fix my tractor, my lawn tractor. Wasn't acting right, and then Sunday, Monday. That was Jack time. I was just chilling, eating what I wanted, drinking what I wanted, finding, cookouts, all that, man. Then the girls got me a little ice cream cake. I like them ice cream cakes, man. So that's it. That's all. Just, enjoy time with my girls, man.
Well, that's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. Couple of comments before we jump off. Matty Ice checking in. What up, guys? What's going on, Matty? If you didn't hear me at the beginning of the show, Matty Ice had drive time at 5 to 6 today. Did the damn thing. Go back and check that out. Matty said, happy birthday, Jack.
Thank you, Matty.
Jumping off in this thing the right way. Legacy commit, if you will, is what Mr. Chick called it. Nicholas Blake, son of Maryland legend. I can say that. I can throw that word around there. University of Maryland Turpin legend. Steve Blake, his son commits to the University of Maryland. He is the 15th player signed for the season. So he is the last commit for this coaching staff. Looking at his stats. Ooh, wait, I just had his stats up. What happened? Looks like he played 28 games in his career. Averaged 10 points per game, I believe. I'm all my stats went away by the wayside. This is crazy. It's saying he averaged 10 points per game last season with 2.6 rebounds. So he is a guard, 6'2". I'm sorry, 6'3", 170. If I'm not mistaken, out of Olympia, Florida. So Not a bad commit. And if he's anything like his dad, you'll watch him grow in College Park. Gentlemen, thoughts on this signing of one Nicholas Blake?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I saw this signing the other day. Go ahead, man. You good?
No, you good, man. I was just gonna say, I just hope they don't sign Gilchrist's son, because then they'd be reenacting the fights from back in the day on the court. So
Okay.
go ahead. It's all you, Jack.
Yeah, the signing is actually, I think this is actually the last spot on the Terps team, if I recall reading that right. Coach Buzz, he has been busy these past couple of weeks. And am I correct in saying this is the last signing, the last roster spot, KG? Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So let's see if Maryland can't get a Blake 2.0 going through there and give this program the uplift they need.
Yeah, I just think it's just a good signing, because you've got kids like you have Matumbo's son at Georgetown. You got Morning's son. I don't know the skill level of Nick Blake, but if he can actually play, it'd help out a lot.
I agree with that. Unfortunately, the signing of Ryan Matumbo and Alonzo Mourning's son at Georgetown did not work out as far as the legacy program. Matumbo's son didn't get a lot of playing time. Neither did Alonzo Mourning's son. They didn't get a whole lot of playing time up there on the hill. Hopefully, Nick Blake gets more playing time as the years progress. Hopefully, he, like his dad, a 4-year player. And I found that was the official stats: 10.6 points per game, 2.6 rebounds, and 1.3 assists per game. And I guarantee you, he has a steady hand when it comes to playing the point guard position. Because if you don't know, his dad carved out a 12-year career by being a steady, true point guard. He carved out and the ferocity that he played with, and didn't back down from anybody. He got love from everybody he played with. But I like this. I'm all for legacy signings and things like that. I like this. I like this a lot. So we're gonna keep an eye on that when we get into college basketball. But we're gonna stick with the basketball, and we're gonna go with some NBA basketball, gents. The Knicks 106, the Pacers 100. This game was played on Sunday after the Sunday Rise. If you didn't check that out, please go back and check that out. You will love it. The Pacers lead 2-1. In this series so far, the road team has won all 3 games. We got game 4 tonight, so we'll be checking in on that before we get off. Now, for the Knicks, OG Anunoby, 16 points. Karl Anthony Towns, not 20 and 20, but he did give you 20 and 15, 24 points and 15 boards. Mitchell Robinson, 6 points, 1 assist, and 6 rebounds. Midnight Rider, what is that?
Triple single.
Thank you, sir. Bridges gave you 15. Brunson gave you 23. Josh Hart, who came off the bench, gave you 10 boards and 8 points. McBride gave you 9. For the Pacers, Siakam gave you 17. Naismith gave you 8, 0, and 7. Midnight Rider, what is that?
Oh, that's a triple single.
Yes, sir. 19 points from Miles Turner, 9 from Nembhard, 20 from Halliburton, 12 from McConnell. And then after that, the Obi Toppin gave you 8. Shepard gave you 3. Bradley gave you 2. And Mathurin, he gave you 2. For team stats, Nick shot 43% from the line. I'm sorry, from the floor, 34% from behind the arc, and 90% from the line. So I love that. For the Pacers, 44% from the field, 20% from behind the line, and 81% from the free throw stripe. They out-rebounded the Knicks 38-37. They even had more assists, 21-13. And the Knicks won this game despite 14 turnovers compared to 12 by the Pacers. Gentlemen, Jack, what you got on this game and this series.
Well, the Knicks, they had to win this game. It was must win in my eyes. The Knicks came out slow. I think they scored 19 points in the first quarter, and they was trailing at half. So the Knicks started cutting into that Indiana lead. Indiana's got to be able to keep their foot on the throttle, and because you can't be giving up leads in the playoffs, man, because you might not get it back. And I just felt that Indy just could not. They could not totally get into that lead. You know, it seemed like every time they got it within 4 or maybe even 3, boom, 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 right back up to 8 or 9. So this was a hell of a win for the type of game that Brunson had, because I don't feel that Brunson did too much. He played 31 minutes, which is kind of low. He only had 1 assist and 2 rebounds. That's just not Brunson. Did I miss something, guys? Did something go on with Brunson during the game? Why he didn't play these minutes?
I didn't see anything in the highlights.
Yeah, I didn't notice nothing either. It's just I know he's got some breaks because he's got to be one of the tiredest guys on the court. Because Brunson has given everything in the first couple games, and he's given everything in the series before this. So I don't know. Maybe, coach was saying, hey, we up 9. Let's see how long it's going to go. Keep Jay on the bench long as we can. Could have been a strategy like that. But Brunson just did not have his normal numbers for a Knicks win. Josh Hart got into the rebounding category. I don't know where his rebounding has been, but he got 10 rebounds yesterday. He didn't get as much – I'm sorry, not yesterday, Sunday. He didn't get as much scoring as I think New York would like from him. But let's see what Josh can do in the next game and try and keep New York to dig their way out of this 2-0 hole they used to be in. So that's all I see. And Naismith and Nembhard, no shows, This is NBA playoffs, Western Conference, Eastern Conference finals, both of them. You gotta get everything you got out there. There ain't no room for coasting in the playoffs. If you are, more than likely your squad's gonna lose. So I just feel that Indiana didn't get enough out of Naismith and Nembhard it was a closer game than it should have been. I thought New York could have really laid into Indiana, but Indiana had the better first half. So that's the reason I think they stayed in it, because Indiana had the better first half. That's what I see. Midnight Rider, what about you?
I've never seen a series where teams blow more 20-point leads. It doesn't make sense. I think every game in this series, the team that was losing has come back from being down 20, which makes no sense at all. Like Brunson had some foul trouble, Jack. Brunson had 5 fouls. So that's probably the contributor
I see it too. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
I see it now. Yep.
But I think the Knicks had to have it. Right now we got a nail biter at 21-18 with 6 minutes left in the first. That's about it for right now. Let us see if Halliburton can keep this up, because Halliburton's kind of making a name for himself. It's kind of like Brunson and Halliburton are fighting for that next spot in the Eastern Conference in terms of the go-to guys.
I'm going to say this. The Knicks got to keep their foot on the gas. I think they have to – you got to get production, of course, from Brunson. You got to get production from Karl Anthony Towns. But you got to get production. You need somebody else. Every night, somebody got to step up to be that third guy. You got to be the third Beatle in this and be able to step up. They got to do it tonight. This is do or die. It may only be 2-1, but this is do or die. So, Maddie said Vic gave a nice nugget today, said Halliburton is 4-0 in game 4s. Well, he about to be 4-1, Maddie. He about to be 4-1. And Xavier, yeah, I said it. Xavier said, why does Josh Hart play power forward and he's only 6'4"? There's a certain thing about players. Sometimes you have little big men and then you have big little men. Josh Hart is a little big man. Got the heart of a lion, eye of a tiger. And then you got guys like give me somebody soft as duck butter that's in the league right now that can't play the post whatsoever.
Rudy Gobert.
That's a big little man right there. I'm not even going there with you. Not tonight, man. Not tonight.
Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris. I'll give you Tobias Harris because Tobias Harris is not the guy that I hype him up to be, and I understand that. But he is he's a big little man. I'm sorry, he's a little big man because he can play the post, but chooses not to. So, and we'll give you regular updates in the Knicks paces as it's going on right now. Next up, Thunder versus the Timberwolves. I watched part of this game last night. I'll give my thoughts on that when it's time. But the Thunder 128, OKC 128, Minnesota 126. For the Thunder, you got 34 points from Jalen Williams, 21 from Chet Holmgren. Hartenstein gave you 2. SGA gave you 40 and 10. Double-double. Dort gave you 4. Caruso gave you 10 and a couple timely threes. 7 from Wallace, 5 from Williams and Joe, respectively. For the Timberwolves, 22 points from McDaniels. Randall only showed up with 5, 3, and 7. Midnight Rider, what is that?
Oh, that's a triple single, baby.
Oh, yeah. Rudy Gobert, 13 and 9. Anthony Edwards only 16, 6, and 4, and a couple of tough buckets. Really, really tough buckets. Conley gave you 6. Alexander Walker off the bench gave you 23. DiVincenzo with a couple timely threes gave you 21. Nas Reed gave you 11. And Shannon gave you 9. They got a lot of scoring. And if you looked at the box score alone, you would say, oh, Minnesota won this because they got the production. No, Minnesota did not. Both teams shot 50% from the floor. Both teams shot 43% from behind the arc. The Thunder was 76% from the line, 78% for the Timberwolves from the line. The tail of the tape in the paint, 41-36 in favor of the Timberwolves. As far as rebounds, as far as points in the paint, 46-42 in favor of the Timberwolves. And the turnover battle, the Timberwolves 21, the Thunder 14. Jack, what you got on this game in this series, brother?
Well, you 100% correct, KG. And if someone just looked at this box score and looked at the Minnesota side of the scoring things, they'd be like, whoa, man, they got the win without Roth. No, they didn't. That's exactly the way I was looking at it earlier. I'm like, you would never think. I think they wasted some great input by DiVincenzo and Alexander Walker. If Randall could have played half a game, they would have won. It seems like we give Randall his flowers, then he sells out. Then he sells out, then he goes ahead, he's good. It's too inconsistent over there in Minnesota. And I think that Holmgren, Jay Williams, and the SGA are leading by far enough to take care of this team with Caruso, with some timely threes, as KG said, and some stout defense. OKC had 14 steals in this game, 14 steals. And then Minnesota had 21 turnovers. So you had 14 steals, and you're going to turn it over all them times. I can't believe the game was this damn close. OKC scored 37 in the first and 38 in the fourth. that 38 in the fourth was something because Minnesota came strong in the fourth and they wanted to try to catch up for their earlier, I say, mishaps without taking the lead, but they scored 41 points in the fourth quarter and still came up 2 points short. I don't know, man. I'm starting to see it. It's starting to get clearer in my eyes. We're going to have an OKC Indy championship. I think it's starting to come together, fellas. What did you see, Midnight Rider?
I think Minnesota played its best game, and that's the problem. I think they just figured out that their best isn't good enough. I think they should have gotten a little bit more out of Anthony Edwards, but when you get 20 and 20 from 20 points from DiVincenzo and 20 points from Alexander, you figure that would offset that a little bit. But it also tells you how the OKC was kind of playing Edwards. Like they were kind of basically having all attention on him and letting everybody else get theirs. And I think that's the one thing that Minnesota's going to have to figure a way out of is, everybody else can get theirs, but we still need Ant to be the cog to get everything going because he hasn't had very many good looks. I mean, he's been getting some of the toughest looks, and it doesn't help with the length that the Thunder play with. So that's another thing that he's got going against him, or something else that he's fighting in this ball game.
Fellas, as Dario and my wife is my witness, we watched a portion of this game last night, and I got to the point where I was yelling at the TV because there wasn't enough motion and movement for me. I watched SGA play this game. Even though he scored 40, he played too fast and too loose for me last night. And this game was way closer than it should have been for the way Minnesota was playing. Because Minnesota was down. And they were down 9 and came back in the third. But they came back because OKC started playing fast, reckless, and loose. Granted, OKC won this game. You cannot win in the playoffs playing that way. This game should have been an OKC win. This series should be tied 2-2. No doubt in my mind. Rudy Gobert. Gobert gave you 13 and 9. I'm going to ask a question, gentlemen. Please tell me your thoughts. Enlighten me. With a player like Gobert, who's pretty talented on the block, why are you not running a half-court set where you feed it to him and let him go to work? Because they cannot stop him. If he gets going, he is dogging them on the block. Why are you not going through him right now? When they're doubling, triple teaming Ant Edwards, why are you not going to Gobert? That's supposed to be your second fiddle, right? If they double Ant and Gobert is open, where does the ball go? Gobert, because he's open. Why not dump it down? 9 what? Oh, and Dario was talking about that too. Ant forcing up shots and not getting rid of the ball to guys that were wide open. Gents, am I tripping or what you got? I see you got something, Jack. You revving to go. Let's get it.
You calling Gobert the number 2 on this squad? Is that what you just said?
He said it.
Yeah, who would you call second fiddle?
But I thought I saw
calling Julius Randle second fiddle.
I thought I saw sparkles around him, like we moved into another universe where Rudy Gobert was actually a good basketball player. Is that what's happening right now? Go ahead, Jack.
I don't know. Gobert, I don't see Gobert being a dominant down low player. He got some nice dunks in the last game. I'll give him dap on that. But Randall's got to show up as the Robin to Ant-Man. It's Randall, man. It's not Gobert. I don't think. Midnight Ride?
I totally with you, man. I still never understood the extension and the contract they gave Gobert. You can't give a guy that doesn't have an offensive package that kind of money for him just to block shots and halfway rebound. I totally agree with you on the Julius Randle piece, but that's always been Randle's problem. Randle doesn't give you anything consistent, and that's been his biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
but it's like. Now go ahead, KG.
No. I want you to finish that.
You scattered me up here, man. There's many more players on this team that can give you more than Gobert.
Well, I can't get it consistently out of Randle. That's why I say Gobert, because I can't get it consistently out of Randle. McDaniels, okay, is he going to give me 22, 25, 27 a night? Maybe, maybe not. But with Gobert, and that's another thing. I watched last night, nobody effing boxes out. I watched Gobert miss a shot, get the putback, miss it, get the rebound again, put it back and make it. Box out. I feel like I'm Charles Barkley in the fucking T-Mobile commercial. Rebound, box out. DEFENSE, defense.
Cool. That's
what I feel like. I may be wrong, but I doubt it.
Not in this league. Not in this league.
Gobert could get a lot more touches. When they put Holmgren long arms, man, that dude, I think that dude, if he tried, he'd be the one guy that can hug the world. Because Holmgren got some long arms, man. He got a wingspan that'll put anybody to shame. But I think, in my opinion, this is my opinion, it does not represent the Gentleman Jack, the Midnight Rider, or the Sideline Junkies podcast network as a whole. In my opinion, if you go to Gobert when he has a mismatch on him and let him try to go to work down there, you're not forcing up these wild contested triple team shots that Ant was forcing up last night. They came down the floor and they had no ball movement. It was one pass, go to the lane, and try to force something up and go to the line. Stop that. If you just make the freaking play, pass the ball, get it out of your hands, reset, wait. Everybody wants to move so fast. You have to take your time. This is playoff basketball. Any offense that's up-tempo, unless you're the Showtime Lakers, that's not going to work in the NBA playoffs. Ask Mike D'Antoni how his offense works. That running a version of the system, it does not work in the playoffs. Works great in the regular season, does not work in the playoffs. It's tried and true. You got to find something when you slow this down, and you got to dump it in. If they double team Gobert, your job is to find out who's open. That's it, and that's all. You got to do something, because if they don't, and they go into this next game and play the way that they did, and you get the production and still lose, you're going home. 1, 2, 3, Cancun. Your backs are up against the wall right now. So that's what I'm saying. Xavier said, take away the 3-point line. Why are we taking away the 3-point line?
That's the money maker.
That's the game now. Maddie said if a player just got 1 point, 1 assist, 1 rebound, would they still get a triple single love, or is it just a minimum of like 5? It's all across the board, Maddie. All across the board.
And you have to be a 1 point player too.
1 rebound, triple single. Maddie said about Gobert, I heard that he has good penmanship. Yeah, he does. J-Dub checking in. What up, fellas? What's happening, J-Dub, man? Glad to have you here. The next game for this is what, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock?
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's now it's just alternating nights.
No, this is not until Friday. Nope, you're right. Tomorrow, 8:30. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. That's game 6 on Friday, if necessary.
Yeah.
So we're in OKC tomorrow night. Any final thoughts before we move on, fellas?
Just if you tell us off air, you ain't gotta do this online. The check that Rudy Gobert cut for you to talk about him as an offensive dynamo. You can just let me know how many zeros it is. I'd appreciate it, man. I ain't never heard
It's
nobody stand on the table for Rudy Gobert. This is beautiful, man.
it's a substantial amount.
Okay, yeah, it gotta be. Woo. I had to close my eyes because I thought you was talking like Moses Malone or Olajuwon. But then you went back and said Gobert, and I was like, ugh. It's all good,
Well,
baby. I love it.
I'm
I
just,
love it. I love your perspective, man.
I'm trying to throw something out there.
Yeah,
Well,
just
let's switch gears real quick. So, hang tough. We talking NHL playoffs. We had a game. What was this? This was Monday. Oilers versus the Stars. Oilers won it 6-1. Stars. I'm sorry. Oilers lead this 2-1. Jack's guy, Connor McDavid, had 2 goals in this. Dryside only had an assist and got a point off of it. So one of your guys scored, Jack. Did you guys watch this?
I watched pieces of it when I realized early on that when I watched it, I was kind of
Yeah.
watching it in and out.
Your
Hello?
thoughts on it, Jack?
Mm-hmm. But the spoilers wasn't going out like that. They was shooting, boy. They was throwing many shots. How many shots did they throw at that boy? 24 shots, 6 goals. Damn, that's not a lot of shots, honestly, but it looks like it in the stat sheet. But yeah, no, Edmonton's doing what they got to do. They're back up on top now, and like I said, I look forward to seeing Edmonton hold it down and going to the Stanley Cup Finals, and eventually bring that Stanley Cup back to Edmonton. That's what I see in this series.
All right, so current setup is 1-0 Oilers. 8 minutes left in the first. Of course, we got the note saying that it's a 2-1 lead. But let's close this ball game out first, or this match out first. I think it just keeps showing you the explosiveness of the Oilers. And if you had talked to us a week ago, I think we were saying that or 2 weeks ago, everybody thought the Stars were the team to beat. Maddie's guys, myself, but now it's like the Oilers have found their offense. Their goalie is playing the best he's played in a long time. And he has these streaks where he goes from being unbeatable to very beatable.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're on the right side of the wave where he's unbeatable right now. And that's how they're playing. But when you have the 2 best goal scorers in hockey and they both producing, whether they get you points, it makes them hard to beat, man. No matter what the situation is.
I'm with you on that. A couple of comments real quick. Tim says, happy belated birthday, cuz, to Jack.
All right, Tim. Thanks, baby.
Maddie said, just dominating game 3. Skinner in goal is just so weird. He's either great or bad. No in between, huh? He's been very good last 2 games, is what Maddie said. Well, like the Midnight Rider said, we got the Oilers up 1-0 on the Stars right now, still in the first period. Maddie said Adi has looked human this series too.
Yep.
And that's something you don't want to hear about, guys. They say look human. Now, speaking of Matty Ice, this is in his wheelhouse. He said the streak is over. The Canes 3, the Panthers 0. Panthers lead 3-0. Who was the Canes? I'm sorry. The Panthers had 20 shots on goal, all 20 stopped. The Canes had 26 shots on goal. Of course, 25. Not 25. 23 of the 26 were stopped.
You and your man.
It's that Bladensburg man. That Bladensburg man.
Oh, don't pin that shit on that, man. No.
What did you guys think about this game, man?
This was a desperate team.
I thought about Matty Ice all jump. Because Matty Ice has been talking about this terrible losing streak they've had in the semifinals of the NHL. So I was really feeling for Matty Ice. But I tell you, that Frederick Anderson, boy, he pitched his shutout for you, baby. And like I say, that's his first game time since game 2 when he gave up 4 goals and 16 shots. So he had a little bit of time on that bench to think about what happened in game 2, and he shut him down in game 4. So good job, Mr. Anderson. And then Sebastian, and you said his last name, Aho?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't going down quietly, man. He wasn't going down without a fight. That boy was shooting all over the place. He only ended up getting 1 goal, but he was firing shots left and right, man. So good job for the Canes, man. Is it going to help? Are you going to be able to still make it? I don't think so. But at least they broke Matty's streak. Midnight Rider?
Nah, I think that's the kicker to it all is getting that monkey off your back. Now you can kind of relax a little bit with your sticks. You're not white knuckling it. You're not a bit tense because you got to stop the streak all of a sudden. Does it give them life? Maybe. But I don't know if it gives them enough life for them to come back and make this a series. I think this might end Wednesday night, not Wednesday night. Yeah, their next game is Wednesday. So this might end Wednesday.
Yes.
If they're not careful. It's just, I think they had a good night. Everything was going their way. And desperation was the other thing. They desperately had to get back into this ball game or this series real quick.
Well,
my bad.
Maddie said Jacob Slavin took away 4 great chances, best defenseman in the league, period. And he said the streak is over. Might win game 5, but that'll be it. Not beating Bob 4 in a row. Well, I believe the line is, so you're saying there's a chance. There's a chance.
There's a chance. Yes, indeed.
It sounds like.
Since Jack has his Celtics gear on, let me go ahead and give you a line from 2008 and Kevin Garnett. Anything's possible. I will call it just that. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
We'll see. This is going to be interesting, man. I mean, because they kind of play similar. I think Maddie and them were saying that, not Maddie, but Duval Pauls was saying about similar styles. And I guess right now the Panthers are playing the better version of the style. But I think we're at a point of no return. Like I think the Panthers end this soon.
No, damn, I'm sorry.
You good?
Yeah. I don't know if I got a delay or something. I just can't get my timing right, man. Apologize for jumping in on you.
Come on, say your comment.
Man, And like my cousin says, me and my cousin Tim always say, we'll see what's up. Take it as you hear it. We'll see what's up. Usually that means no in my house.
I get that. All right. We're going to switch over for a little bit because I got a question of the night, gentlemen. This has been on a lot of people's plate this week. Caitlin Clark out with a, let me get it right. She is out with a left quadriceps strain. And she'll be out for a minimum of 2 weeks. Now, we've done this before, so let me put my doctor hat on. There's a difference between a sprain, a strain, and a tear. A sprain is just swelling. A strain means you tore some of the muscles, but not enough that requires surgery. A tear or a rupture is a complete tear of the muscle or tendon. The question of the night is, will the WNBA suffer with Clark out? Meaning, does the ratings dip for the 2 weeks that she's going to be out because of her being the polarizing figure she is? And a lot of people saying, well, I'm not going to watch the WNBA because she's not playing. And I want to hear what you gentlemen have to say. I got my own opinions, but I would like to hear what you gentlemen have to say. Start with the gentleman, Jack.
Okay. No, I do not think the WNBA is going to suffer in Caitlin Clark's absence. First of all, for her team, the Indiana Fever, I think Miss Boston will get some more work sent her way to work on, have her going, as a first option, maybe in the offense. I don't think it's going to hurt the league at all. If you look at the schedule, Indiana doesn't play many. I don't think they play anybody over 500 in that 2 week span. They got the Mystics twice. They got a couple other lowly teams. So, I don't think it's going to affect. I don't think the league's going to miss Caitlin Clark, or Caitlin Clark's absence is going to affect the league in no way. Isn't that right?
Well, there's a nice game with Chicago that is placed in that mix, and I think any kind of continuation or any kind of opportunity for them to be in the same arena, I think that gives you an opportunity for something to happen or something to create news or buzz. So I think from that aspect, I think there's an opportunity. There's a chance that you miss maybe a moment that could happen or could make something happen. But I also think that when it comes to Clark, I think her fans will take a break. I think they'll wait because they're the casuals. The casuals aren't going to watch this like the regular fan would. And I think that's where I think their casual nature and her having to, I think she has to be there for them to be present in front of the TV. Go ahead, KG.
I can see that.
I love that you said that. The casual fan. And with the casual fan, they always have all these think pieces on social media about Caitlin Clark and what she is, and she's the greatest player to ever play. No, she's not the greatest player to ever play in the WNBA. She's not even the greatest woman player of all time. You want to talk greatest of all time, woman side? Let's talk one Cheryl Miller. You want to talk greatest to ever play in the WNBA? I got a list that come before she even comes. And I think I'm about 40, 50 deep with that. But I agree with Jack. I don't think that the viewership dips because the real fans are going to still watch. They're still going to, everybody's not an Indiana Fever team. I mean, I'm just a WNBA fan. I don't have a team. Until they resurrect the comments, I don't have a team. But I'm just a WNBA fan. And Jack, you alluded to it. They do play the Mystics twice in that span. They play the Mystics tomorrow. excuse me, and play them again on Tuesday the 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
They got the Sun, the Sky on the 7th, the
Mhm.
Liberty, the Dream, the Sun again. They got the Valkyries, they got the Aces. By the time she come back, maybe she might miss 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe 9, 10 games, but she can't rush that back. That's for one. Most importantly, she cannot rush back from this. She's got to rest. You don't want to tell your quad lady. That's not where it's at. But
Well,
if the casual
she
fan,
hasn't spent a lot of time on the.
go ahead.
Go ahead,
Because
casual fan.
no,
She
no,
hasn't
no. You
spent a
said
lot of time on the bench in the past 2 years that
that's
I
it
know
right
of.
there. And you're absolutely right. She hasn't missed a game since high school, and I think that was sophomore year. So that's a long time to be playing.
Mm-hmm.
But the casual fan don't know that because all they know is
But
that she's playing and she's not.
yes, but I think she can get stronger as a ball player by watching 10, 12 games from the bench. Uh, I would think she should be sitting right next to the coaches. You know, this is the seat she hasn't had, like you say, since high school. So it cannot hurt Caitlin Clark to sit right up by the coaching staff and watch this game as a coach or from a different, perspective than she does while she's on the court. I think she can learn a lot in this little stint on injured reserve.
I agree with you 1,000%.
I think this is the
Um,
first time she gets to get some actual rest. It might be the 2 weeks helps her out a little bit because she can rest her body. Because I think these ladies, I mean, I know they have a regular off season, but especially that first year out of college, you put a lot of wear and tear on your body because you play a college season and
With
then
the
you turn
Olympic.
around and in 2 weeks or a couple of weeks you play your WNBA schedule. And I think that's where some of these strains come from is the level of wear and tear these ladies will put on their body in that first year.
and I
Mm.
think that was discussed, and everybody was like, "Oh man, stop being soft." It was discussed in the NBA as well as the WNBA. There is no off season. There is no training camp to warm yourself up to really get going. If you notice, the NBA, they don't really have a training camp like they once had where you actually can go and, practice in Hawaii. You practice, away from home and actually get a training camp. And then you come back, you rest, you recuperate. Then you start the season with the preseason where you're just warming up and things like that. They don't do that anymore. The WNBA, like you said, the day after the women's championship game, a day or two after that is the draft. 3, 4 days after that, you start in training camp. If you done went all the way through and made the championship game and either won or lost the championship game, you ain't had no rest. You on the move. You packing up, you gone. I mean, geez, man.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, this was bound to happen because of that type of tight schedule. I will say that. But for people to think that the ratings of the league or the viewership of the league is going to go down because Caitlin Clark is not playing, as Jack said, I think Aaliyah Boston is somebody you want to watch. I think Asia Wilson is somebody you want to watch. I think Brittany Griner is somebody you might want to watch. Paige Buchers. We got Kelsey Plum. Like I can sit there and name so many people that you can watch on different teams.
But that's not what they there for. I mean, I
Then
just had a
if
lady. Hold
Go ahead.
on. I know what you're about to say. I had a lady. What was that? Friday. I was leaving work, and she was trying to have a WNBA conversation, but her WNBA conversation really was truly about Caitlin Clark and not about the rest of the league. And she's the reason why she watches. So for somebody like that your fandom is built around the one person, there's a good enough chance that you're not going to watch because that's all you're interested in is that one person. Now, luckily for her, the young lady has found some other players that she likes. But there's a group of people that are established as Caitlin Clark and Caitlin Clark only. And that's the
Definitely.
group that you got to think about.
Go ahead, Jack.
Well, that's the group that you don't want to have a WNBA conversation with, to tell you the truth. You know,
Yeah.
all they're gonna tell you is Clark's numbers. They're not gonna tell you WNBA numbers. So, not to be a dick, but if that's the only reason you're following, go ahead and be a fan. But don't try to talk ball.
I love that. I love that. And just like, I'm not even gonna say anything else because you guys just put a cherry on top with that. People always talk about casuals. That's the definition of them. Next up, let's switch backgrounds. Let's switch topics. Let's talk some NFL real quick since we're gonna be close to home. Little Commanders news. OTAs started back up today, gentlemen. It was phase 3 of OTAs, the 27th through. Come on, don't do me like that. Why you do me like that? The 27th through the 30th. Then they take off and they come back on the 2nd through the 6th for phase 3. I guess no news is good news when it comes to OTAs. I know we got a battle for right tackle between Andrew Wiley, Brandon Coleman, and Josh Connerly Jr. is your battle for right tackle. But nobody's talking, it's no significant news. Do you think that's a good thing or just the team's playing it close to the vest? What do you guys think? Starting with the gentleman, Jack Carr.
I think it's just too soon. I think it's just too soon, dude. You start throwing cards out this early, you start playing your hand. Shit get all mixed up in house, man. I think they're just keeping it close to the chest, man.
Yeah, I just think you can't tell nothing. You can't learn anything because you don't have the normal contact. You're just gonna have guys out in shorts, taking pictures and just going through the motions. You know what I'm saying? You can't learn anything about the running backs, the linemen, or anything like that. This is all for the wide receivers and the tight ends. And this is their moment or their fun time. Because everything else, you can't judge anybody on any of that stuff.
I'm not sure.
I love the simple fact that we're not able. People are not saying, "Oh man, we about to win the Super Bowl because we got this guy in camp, we got that guy, and this is that." I'm glad that we're out of the dark ages where we're paper champions in May and June. I'm glad we're out of that. But I will ask you guys this question, sticking with the Commanders. Landing spot for Jalen Ramsey has been talked about with the Vikings, the Commanders, a lot of different teams. Should the Commanders pursue Jalen Ramsey if it comes down to it? And you need another corner or something. Should they pursue him?
No. I don't know why we're having this discussion. I mean, he doesn't fit your program. He doesn't fit your type. Like, you're trying to get away from certain things and you're inviting those things into your house by bringing them in. Then you don't know what you have to give up to get this guy. And you've already moved 2 picks next year. So, like, let's not mess up the building process. You made moves to get you some blue star talent. But now that you got a couple, you just can't give up everything to keep adding pieces without still trying to build your foundation. You got 4 years of no first rounder on this team still. You got no second round on the team, but one maybe, and that's Quan Martin. And then your third rounders for the last 4 years, you might have 2 or 3. Like you're dealing from a place with no depth, with no foundation. So you can, I mean, trading picks is a bad idea in this situation. Um, to me, I think it's just a bad idea, and especially on a guy like him. Sorry, Jack.
Okay. I mean, he'd be nice to have on this Commanders roster, but what you gonna give up to get him? If somehow he lands in your lap for a steal, yeah. But you can't go out and rob Peter to pay Paul just to get some better ball players, dude. It's gonna weaken your program quicker than you think. So
I love that you said that,
I'd
Jack.
love to have Jalen Ramsey on the squad, but what's that?
You can't. Both of you guys said the same thing. You can't weaken your team to make it better with somebody that you don't really know. I love it. I love what you guys are saying. Because you making me feel better because I'm like, yeah, I don't want the cat. Now, looking at his contract, his base salary for this season coming up is 1.2 million, signing bonus of 1.7, roster bonus of 4 million. His cap hit is 16 million. Next year, it balloons to 10 million for 26 and 27, and then 21 million for 28. I don't want to be on the hook for not even a part of that. And we not knowing if we're gonna get any production out of this cat. I'm good. I'm good. The correspondent checking in. He said, "Good evening, fellas. Great show so far. Coleman is going to kick inside to guard, especially with the Cosme injury, and Wiley will be the swing tackle. Connolly Jr. will be the right tackle." All right, we'll write that down.
That plays out.
Xavier said, "I agree. Who would you give up for him? I don't want to give up any picks. It's just my thought. I don't want to give up anybody." J Dub said, "How can you not want a talent like Jalen, like Ramsey? Training camp is a competition." Yeah, the price tag is too high, J Dub. Price tag is too high because, yeah, no, and he would have to do a big restructure of that contract, and no, that price tag is way too high. And Xavier asks, "Is Gabe Taylor signing to the Commanders?" No word yet has he signed. But there's still time.
No, I haven't heard nothing.
There's still time because we just got OTAs, and
I think
once
you still
training
have to
camp
earn
starts,
that.
we'll find out something by then.
I think that's bad though. If it's close to the camp that they wait, then he's just gonna be a body.
Yeah. But he'll be a body, and see,
Yeah.
this is where not having 4 preseason games kind of hurts, because you got to make an impact very, very quick. You got 3 games, and they're talking about going from 3 to 2, so you got to make an impact very, very quick in the preseason before you can get anything done.
I disagree a little bit on that.
Okay.
Only because
Let's talk about it.
Because yeah, you get 3 preseason games, but now you're doing the things that the coaches like, which are these scheduled practices that happen the week of the thing, the padded practices with the other teams. So I think those become your preseason games, and that's where your regulars get a lot of their work. You see a lot of teams where they don't play a lot of their regulars during the preseason because they get their work in that practice session, and then they let the young guys play in the preseason games. A lot of guys have gotten their time to go up because they get more opportunities because you're getting the padded practices in. So then now you go to the next thing, you get to the game, and now Terry McLaurin maybe doesn't have to play in that preseason game, and you can play. I don't know, you playing Jalen Lane or you're playing Luke McCaffrey a little bit more, and that's where these guys get their looks. Their reps start going up because the third preseason game. Come on, everybody, say it with me. Preseason game. Nobody's gonna get any work in the third one. That's gonna be all the young guys.
Well, your third preseason game used to be your dress rehearsal. And your fourth preseason game was always for those fringe guys just to get something on tape to show to another team or to show that they're ready for this team. You don't have that anymore. And I get what you're saying. And you're absolutely right, because these padded practices and these playing practices, of course, everything's different now. It's just, it used to be if you made an impact in preseason game number 2, all right, number 3, we're going to see what you really got. Number 4, we really going to see what you got if you're on the bubble. But, after the third, the first round of cuts come, and, once the Turk come and say, hey, come with me and bring your playbook, you already know what time it is. But now that's happening after the first preseason game. So if you have a bad night on that first preseason game, sorry, Charlie.
No, I think they changed it down to 1 cut now. I think it's 1 cut after. You don't have the round of cuts no more because the way they structure the preseason, it doesn't make sense you to drop from 90 to 77 to 53 or whatever it is. I think you have whatever your big number is, and you go to 53. I'll double check it, but I only remember there being 1 cut last year.
Okay, well, you always when it comes to cut down day, right before cut down day, right here on the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network, we do our roster projection every season. And for the last 5 seasons, somebody has been 51, 52 out of 53. And, it's been one of us. But the last couple of seasons now, I'll say it, Midnight Rider been doing this thing. He all right, though. He good. Look at him.
Why your voice changed? Why your voice changed?
Cause man, you stole that. That was my spot. He didn't knock me off my spot. You see, little salty, Jack. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little salty. But he stole my spot because I was doing this long before he got here, and I was always 51 out of 53 and stuff like that. But when he got here, I can't get it right now. It's his fault. So. But it's cool. Just remember, when it comes to cut down day, you want to know the Commanders roster projection. Right here is where you need to be.
Every time you do that voice, dog, all I can think of is Arsenio Hall yelling and crying in the back of that car in the Harlem Nights.
You made me kill Junior. Maddie said next year will be down to 2 preseason games anyway when it goes to 18. And I think that there. Go ahead, Jack.
I'll take that back. Quick got his pinky toe shot off. Arsenio Hall's guy got his brother killed. My fault on the pinky toe.
If we go to 18 and down to 2 preseason games, that just proves one thing to me. This league never cared about player safety.
Well, I mean, they kind of told you that last year when they played on Christmas Day. What was it, Wednesday? They did the Saturday to Wednesday special.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they keep telling you that, but then they turn around and argue with you like, oh, yeah, we play about the players. Do you really? Do you really? I don't know.
Well, final question before we go out on this last comment. Fellas, do you think that if we go to 18 games, do you think that's an oversaturation of football? Because we're already at 17 now, and some teams are only getting 7 home games because you're playing a game or 2 overseas.
No, so
here losing. Do you think it's an oversaturation?
No. You can never have too much football. The numbers show it. Was it last year? Was it 1 year?
Numbers, but it's like, what's it going to be?
What was that, Jack?
What's it going to be next? 20 games? I mean,
no.
What's it going to be next? 20 games? It's
no,
like,
I think 18 is where they want to be at.
I'm on the fence.
I think they want to have the 10-10. I mean, the 9-9. and not have to do this little hokey thing they do with the 9 home games and 8 road games for one conference and all that. I think that's the one thing they're going to try to get away from.
I'm with Jack. I'm on the fence about it. Now, granted, it can't be too much football.
But they got that. And like you said, the sending cats out of the country.
That's what I'm saying.
Who is it playing out of the country back-to-back weeks this year? I heard somebody is.
Minnesota. So they play 1 week in Germany, and then the next week in London
Spain?
Or something like that. Nah, Spain is Miami.
Oh, okay. But I don't know. Okay. I knew it was.
They're doing this to try to figure out.
I don't know. That's
how much
games, and it's right. But me being the old head, I just think it's messing up records and career numbers and all kind of things that the sport has held down for a good long time. So, like I say, man, it's going to 18. When they're saying it's going to go to 18, what's going to stop it from going to 20?
I think 18 is the drop dead number right now. To be honest with you.
Right now.
And I think the other problem they're going to have is with these college kids, they're getting up to now 13, 14, 14, 15, 16 games in the college season. So now that's creating some more wear and tear on your players. You know what I'm saying? Like a guy that's at Ohio State, and each year, the last 2 years or the next 3 years, they're playing in bowl games late in the season during the playoffs. And like, what's their recovery system going to be like? How's that going to play itself out? So it becomes real interesting on how we manage our players going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Man. J-Dub giving us high scoring first half. Indiana leads 69-64 into the first half. Maddie said if they did 18 with just Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, no. But we know they will push it. Yeah, you're gonna have another day. You're gonna have a Wednesday special. They're gonna put 4 or 5 games on Saturday. They're gonna push it somehow, some way to get more days of the weekend where you get football.
Well, they have like an unwritten agreement with college football that they wait till college football is over before they start playing on Saturdays.
Right.
Like that's a gentleman.
Wait till I think November.
Yeah, it's like the end of November, first part of December is when you get that first Saturday game, and that's all out of respect for the NCAA. And if the NBA has shut its mouth, you wouldn't have Christmas games. But the NBA and its players decided to show all and act like they own Christmas, and there was no better product that could be brought to you on Christmas Day. And the NFL was like, well, hold my beer. Let's see how this works out for you players.
What?
Yup.
There's a but. That Christmas Day triple header that the NBA puts on every year. It's always must-see TV because it's always something. It is full. But it's always a good game. It's always 4 good games. Like the year that they had the Lakers versus the Heat, Shaq versus Kobe, the first matchup. Bro, everybody sat in to watch that. You had the Bulls versus the Heat. You had everything on Christmas Day. You open your gifts, you sat in front of the TV, you watched basketball all day. It was great.
Yeah, then the NFL said, excuse me, let me flex for you. In the last 3 years, they stepped on their toes, kissed their wives, goosed or whatever it's called, as Doc Walker says, and have taken Christmas Day for their own. The only people that's watching NBA basketball on Christmas Day are the lifers. Everybody else is watching football.
Well, I tell you, Thanksgiving, always been about football, turkey and football, okay? And then it went Christmas, depending on what day of the week it fell on, whether NFL was going to be there. Because sometimes Christmas weekends we'd see NFL. But when the NBA had this slate, it used to be a two game slate. Then it went to 3. Then it went to 4. But like you say, I feel Thanksgiving's football, Christmas is basketball. That's just how it felt for me, and I always liked it like that. But you're right. If the matchup ain't right on the basketball court, I'm watching football anyway. If the matchup ain't right.
Well, I can't argue with that. Maddie said rumor is with 18 teams that play overseas will play 2 straight, 1 home, 1 away. Eesh.
That way you don't cheat your fans out of 8 games, 8 home games.
I don't get that. Right. But to be out of the country for 2 weeks and try to keep a normal football routine going, that's nearly impossible.
Why?
You're not on the West Coast or nothing, you know what I'm saying?
Why? If they schedule it right, you schedule those two back-to-back games. That one team stays because they'll know how. So more than likely, the 2 teams that's going to end up staying, if it's more than 2 teams or multiple teams to start, it's going to be Jacksonville and Minnesota, because Minnesota's doing it this year as a test dummy. So if it happens again next year, more than likely it will be Minnesota and Jacksonville, 2 operations that understand the foreign schedule and know what it takes to get your team ready during that week. And then more than likely they'll come home to buys, so that way they can get themselves back on a regular clock and not have to play the very following week after being out of the country. All these games are so they can perfect their way to play
travel. Ain't like okay, but international travel ain't like just a hop, skip, and a jump. You know, we're going down to Florida real quick. International travel is a totally different monster, man. And some of these cats ain't never traveled outside the country, let alone, you know, longer than say a 6-hour flight. Going over to Germany, man, that's probably what, 15 hours?
I don't know what the flight is.
Long flight. And like I say,
15, 16, something like that.
I'm pretty sure that's
they ain't flying TWA either, though. All I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand. But like I say, some of these cats ain't never traveled like that. I don't think it's a great idea to keep them over there for 2 weeks, but that's my opinion. Everybody got their own.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And Maddie said, I don't think the NFLPA will ever go for more than 18.
They can't.
I think that's where they stop at.
They shouldn't be going for 18, but they can't help themselves.
Of course. But we can help ourselves, and we got to stop here. So, first, Jack, what we got on the schedule for tomorrow for In the Passenger Seat?
I'm working on it. Had a last minute cancellation. So as of now, the Midnight Rider and I are on this. So we'll keep you posted tomorrow. Try to make an announcement tomorrow morning if possible. But yeah, me and the Midnight Rider going to talk about this.
And if you're looking to do this interview in the passenger seat, reach out to us. And if you're free tomorrow, 8 o'clock, I mean, maybe we can make that work out. And maybe you can help us keep the stretch going, the streak going. So reach out to us. Let us know if you can fill in or you can be the fill-in and you're interested. And we go from there.
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
That's hit up Midnight Rider, the Gentleman Jack. Let them know you're available. This is the people's podcast, and sometimes the people got to come in and fill in. So, final thoughts before we go, gentlemen.
There was a great study done by the Washington Post where they polled fans in the DMV this year to see how they felt about the Commanders, or if they identified as Commanders fans. And I think 22 months ago, the numbers were in the low 30s, low to mid 30s in terms of responses of yes. Now we're getting responses in the 55 to 61% range. And that's a big jump from 22 months ago. So people are starting to accept the name. Not everybody. I mean, we had some people even on this show grow a little bit into liking the name or getting used to the name. I'm not gonna say they like it. I'm gonna say they're used to it or they're tolerating it. And I think we've had some guests on in the passenger seat that expressed, I was a fan during the Redskin years, but I've struggled at identifying as a Commander. So this little thing that we got, this poll that we got, I think it's in the Washington Post. There's another article that I want you to look at also. If you have The Athletic, Ken Rosenthal did a great job in talking about the Nats and the problem with the Nats the last 7 years, how they basically made themselves a lower rung baseball team by not being able to sign free agents, by nickel and diming their bullpen, by not signing any players. So there's a whole article, Ken Rosenthal, Athletic Today, on that page. Look it up. It's a nice read. It will talk about Rizzo letting this team down in some areas and the ownership letting this team down in some areas. So you got 2 articles you need to check out. I think it's Nikki Javala and 2 others, Washington Post, about the Commanders poll. That didn't sound good. And then the second one is the Nationals in The Athletic, Ken Rosenthal.
I'll say this to the poll in the Post. Midnight Rider and Jack always tell me I need to follow better people. I started that today on X. Guy was talking about not liking the Commander's name and not liking the beat reporters and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, how do you find fault in everything and we're winning? Like, I can understand if we were losing, we were a cesspool, bottom of the barrel. No, we're winning. I said, you know what? I don't need this type of negativity from you in my life. Block. So it's a lot of people out there that are not feeling the name still. And I wanted to go back to Redskins. And I always say, man, stop. Enjoy what we have right now, please. Because there's been some dark days. Hungry nights. It was like living in a cave and begging for the sunlight. And we never saw it. Now the sun's out. We're out of the cave. Our color's starting to come back. We walking up right on 2 legs instead of walking around on 4. Like, a new day is dawn. Enjoy it. It's just my 2 cents. But fellas, let's get on up out of here. For those,
you got it. You got it.
Go ahead, Jack.
I just wanted to make everyone aware that the College Baseball World Series of softball and baseball is about to begin. The Softball World Series starts May 29th, and there's been some bombers out there. Tennessee looking good. Oklahoma always looking good. Clemson was hanging in there, but I think Clemson got eliminated. I got to double check that. And then the baseball side of the College World Series starts June 13th. So all you baseball guys out there, that college baseball, man, that's some good stuff to watch because them kids out there playing with their heart, man, and I love it. So It's
Well,
that
if you're gonna
time of
talk,
year. And then
talk to
then come
women,
July, you got the Little League World Series coming. So say what?
I said if you're gonna talk to women's, you gotta talk about Oklahoma.
Say what, bro?
I said if you talking women's,
What's it?
you gotta talk about Oklahoma because I think they're 4-time champs right now. So they actually had a graduating class that never lost in the College World Series, and now they're trying to have their second one.
Never lost.
So that's
Correct.
an intriguing story. If nothing else gets you alone, and
Now
you
you
like
got
dynasties. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But you got some young teams coming up like Tennessee. Tennessee, they got a gal on the mound throwing 80-something mile an hour. So I saw her pitch in the closing game of the SEC final the other day. She did damn well.
Yeah, then the young lady at
It's
Arkansas.
amazing how much better baseball and softball. So it should be some good times because, like I say, the sports is slowing down. I'm going cuckoo, not being able to watch a basketball game whenever I want to.
Well, Thursday, Jack, you bring some the 2025 NCAA softball women's bracket. We'll see if we can pull that up on there. I'm sure, Jack, you got all the updates for us. So most definitely that'll be on Thursday. That show done already filled itself out for Thursday, because I would love to hear what you got to say on that.
Yeah, that'd be great because it starts Friday, so that'd be great.
Well, that's a good show. So make sure you here to join us for that on Thursday for the Thursday Night Throwdown. Make sure you click like and subscribe to the Sideline Junkies on YouTube. You do it on Facebook. You do it on Instagram. You follow us on X. All of that. So for the gentleman Jack, the Midnight Rider, I'm the big guy KG. Until next time, ladies and gents, we are out of here.